back to Hermitcraft. All right. Well, yes, it's been a few days. I actually took a day or two off. I kind of needed to. Personal IRL reasons, but basically it came down to I wasn't really up to doing much of anything. And I needed some time. But I'm back at it. I have got this room dug out another good little ways here, and what that means is that the overflow setup is going to go up against where the new wall is, and the filter system is going to be expanded as far as there's room for, and new filter slices set up for things that show up in here, with the exception probably of a llama head. I mean, how many of those am I ever going to get? So let's just throw that up against the wall and leave it. Yeah, the rest of that stuff, I'm going to end up with more of it over time. I'm sure of that. And so the filter expansion, that's a been there, done that 2 or 3 times now, so I'm just going to do that off camera. Next thing I want to get done is going to be, this thing needs to be modernized. And that's going to involve the soil sand and the glass and water buckets. In fact, let me set up a temporary water thing right here so that I don't have to go down here for every bucket. Because I'm going to need a bunch of source blocks of water, because the idea is tear this whole mess down except for the very last dropper on the bottom that is feeding this whole tower of stuff, because it's going to be feeding through a block of soil sand into a bunch of water source blocks to elevate items that way. Okay. Get up here, break that down, and of course the new water thing, basically the water source is going to come all the way up to here with a glass tube. And there'll be a source block here. It'll flow that way over the hoppers. And yeah. And then we'll have items flowing over the hoppers, into the hopper chain, and on over to the filter system. So I just get this stuff torn down. And one more. Okay. Get all this stuff picked up. Okay. I shouldn't need this layer either. That I should have probably left covered. In fact, how about I do that? Alright, leave that covered. This is the one that's going to have the slow sand on it. Oh, come on. Alright, and then glass. around all the way up. And here's the fun part. I need a water source block in each one of those locations. Oh. At least a water source block is how I understand that it works, but, you know, what do I know? Okay. And I'm also thinking of another change to the overall system here. And that's going to be in terms of what I'm using for fuel and the production of fuel automatically. In other words, it's time for a kelp farm. And I decided this after seeing Cub's tutorial with the one that he made. It looks like a good, solid, automatic design, so I'm in favor of that. Okay, so I just run this up. I probably should have several water buckets so that I don't have to do this for every single block. And I suppose it's possible that I don't need to, that it doesn't all have to be source blocks, but it's a little bit of a pain in the butt, but it's not that big of a deal. All right. All right. Like that. Alright, what happens if I just put this block up there? Will that work? Let's throw something in and find out. Oh, come on. Get up there. Okay, it seems to be working, so maybe it doesn't have to be source blocks all the way. I should have tested that. And it's a darn sight faster too, I gotta say that. Alright, so good. That'll work. That works just great. Okay, the next thing I'm going to need is, of course, if I'm building a kelp farm, I need two very important things. A good large size space underground in which to build it, which is going to end up being something in the neighborhood of, oh, I don't know, 20 by 20 by 15 or more in height. I'm not certain, but something like that anyway. And so I'm not going to dig that on camera. That's going to take me probably the better part of an afternoon to do, and I'm in no mood to do it right now. But what it does mean is that another thing I'm going to need is a supply of raw kelp to start working with. And by the way, I had gotten some tools going. I got my helmet with respiration 3 and protection on it. Nothing in the rest of the armor yet, which I'm going to put away. But I do have something I want on the boots. Depth Strider 3. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that on there. Okay, good. The rest of this armor I'm just going to put away because I don't want to take a chance on losing it. The boots and the helmet get me breathing underwater and moving at a decent pace underwater, which is going to be needful because it's time to go see about collecting fresh kelp. All right. Well, fortunately, there is a good supply of this raw, fresh kelp just kind of laying around out here. And the thing to do, as I understand it, you go down below and you break these stalks. And the bits float up to the surface where you can collect them. And what I'm going to need is about 3 stacks of this. Which, from the looks of it, shouldn't take too awfully long to collect. Oh, good grief. I suppose the fish are eating it. Is that it? I don't know, honestly. All right. Looks like I just about got 3 stacks. That's good. Which should be enough to start my construction here. A little bit of extra won't hurt. All right. I think the next thing to do, I have some components I need to make. I need, let's see, about almost 3 stacks of pistons, a similar number of observer blocks, and construction blocks, and some miscellaneous little bits of redstone here and there, and so on, some rails and so forth. So I'm going to see about getting things together. All right, well, I got the filter system expanded out to the new wall area here, and everything's been run through it, and all of these slices except for the last one is all set. And the last one, I've got the filter material in place, so the first thing that comes through without a filter slice to catch it will land in there. Hopefully it will be something not dumb. And so, let's see, I need to get a bunch of cobble together here. I'm going to need some of this redstone. That'll probably be way more than enough. And in here I have nether quartz. And let's see, observer blocks, okay. I'm going to need a little bit more than that. More cobble. Alright. That should do it. Well, mostly. Yeah, 3 stacks of cobble, observers. That'll do. And then there's a few more things, like 3 stacks of pistons and whatnot. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hollow out an area over here. and that's where the automatic farm thing is going to end up going, is right over here in a fairly large space, but it'll be handy close by to the system over here, and I should have no problem outputting the product from the farm, the dried kelp and whatnot, into the sorting system from there. So yeah, not a problem. But I'm going to have a lot of digging to do to get this thing all hollowed out, and actually to go ahead and get started building it and whatnot. So I will work on that, and next time I should have the actual structure of the thing finished. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I am out of here.